Vibhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everyone to our ongoing study of Bhagavatam, and we're on Canto 9. Today we're looking at chapter number 16, entitled Lord Parasurama Destroys the World's Ruling Class. So we heard yesterday, about Lord Parasuram. And we heard, who remembers, what did Lord Parasuram do yesterday? In the 15th chapter, we heard how Kartavirya Arjun had come there to the ashram of Jamadagni, and he became attracted to the cow, to the Kamadhenu cow. He saw how that cow was so powerful, was providing all the needs it could provide everything for so many people. All the comforts, all the luxuries, all the food, everything needed to satisfy everyone. And so Kartavirya Arjun wanted to have that cow, and he took away the cow from the ashram of Jamadagni. So then, what happened? Someone remember?
Parshuram went to the Kartavirya Arjun's capital, and then he killed him.
Yes, in the course of killing him, who else did he kill?
His sons, thousands of sons he killed.
No, he didn't kill the sons yet. He killed the...
He killed one Akshahinis soldiers.
How many Akshahinis?
One Akshahinis Maharaj.
Huh? How many?
17 actions.
Huh?
17 actions. 17 actions.
Yes, right, 17 Akshahinis came, and Parasuram killed them all, right? As well as Kartavirya Arjun. And he brought back the cow. So was his father pleased?
No, Maharaj.
Why not?
He told that it is sinful to kill the king for a Brahmana.
Yes, yeah. Not good to kill the king, right? He was the emperor, he was the king of kings. And Parasurama killed him. So what did he say to Parasuram? What was the atonement he had to do?
For atonement, he told Parshuram to go to the all holy places.
Yes, right. Yeah. He told Parasuram, you've killed the king. Very bad. He said, as a Brahmana, you're supposed to have what quality?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yeah, forgiveness. The important quality of a Brahmana. And Vaishnavas, of course, also. Vaishnavas are supposed to be like that. Be forgiving, tolerant and forgiving. So he told Parasurama, you have to atone for this. And we'll see in the next chapter that anybody who does any killing, they have to atone for it. They don't get away with it. They get reactions. If you don't atone, then you get reactions for it. And we'll see in this next chapter, we're going to read tonight, how even Jamadagni and Parasurama, and because they did some killing, they had to do atonement. They suffered. They got reactions. Okay, good. So we're going ahead. This chapter number 16, right? So Sukadeva Goswami is telling Maharaj Parikshit how Lord Parashuram was given order by his father that he should go to the holy places and atone, right? Remember, going to the holy places means to go and associate and hear from the saintly people who live there. And also, just being in the holy place is very purifying. So for 1 year he travelled in the holy places, and then he returned to his father's residence. So then, next we're told about the incident of Jamadagni's wife, Renuka, mother of Parasurama. That she was helping her husband, and she had to go to the Ganga and bring water for the yagya, for the functions, the pujas that her husband was doing. But when she went to the Ganga to get water, at that time she saw the king of the Gandharvas, and the king of the Gandharvas was decorated with a garland of lotuses, and he was sporting in the Ganga with celestial women who were apsaras. So heavenly people had come there to Mother Ganga to bathe in the sacred water of Mother Ganga. Sometimes we don't know who's coming there to bathe in the water of the Ganga. The Ganga is very sacred, very special. So sometimes even the demigods come down from the higher planets to take bath in the Ganga. So Renuka happened to see the king of the Gandharvas, and she was attracted. She saw, oh, he was decorated with a garland of lotus flowers, and she was thinking that, oh, he's very, very handsome, very good looking. She was somewhat inclined towards him. She didn't say anything, and she didn't do anything, but she just thought in her mind that, oh, look at him, he's very, very worthy, noble-looking person, very attractive. So somehow she got absorbed in watching this king. The king was called Chitrarat. He was the king of the Gandharvas. And he's sporting with all these ladies or girls who are apsaras. So they're also very physically attractive. And there's this young man, he's enjoying with them, playing with them. And she got absorbed in looking and watching them, and she was thinking about how nice, how qualified the man is. So after some time, she realized that she'd been standing there for some time, and that the time for the offering and the sacrifice had passed. And so she understood her husband was going to be upset with her because she'd taken too long. She was just supposed to go to Ganga, bring the water, but somehow she got delayed watching them, and she took too long. So when she came back to the husband's ashram, she put the water pot before the husband, and she just stood there with folded hands. And she knew husband's going to get a bit angry at her. So Jamadagni was a powerful personality. He was powerful in his austerity, and he could understand the mind of his wife. He understood what had happened, that she'd committed adultery in her mind. She was looking at the man and thinking about the man like that. So he was very angry with her for that. So he told his oldest son that your mother's been sinful, you should kill her. But he didn't do it. Jamadagni had 4 sons. So he asked 1, 2, 3 sons to kill the mother. None of them would do it. They said, no, we cannot do it, our mother, we cannot. So then he said to the youngest one, Parasuram, he said, your mother has been sinful, you kill her. And you kill your 3 brothers also. And so Parasurama, hearing the words of his father, he took his axe and he killed them. Because he knew the power of his father. He's Parasuram, right? He's very obedient to the order of his father. So father told him to do this. Sometimes you follow the order, sometimes you won't do it. It's like Bhishma got told he should get married by Parasuram. Parasuram told Bhishma you should get married. And there was a girl who wanted to marry Bhishma. And Parasuram was telling Bhishma, you should marry this girl. But Bhishma said, no, I made a vow, brahmachari. He wouldn't do it. And so then Parasuram said, then you have to fight me. So they had a big fight. And Parasurama could not defeat Bhishma. So he said, okay, then don't marry her. He told the girl, I can't do anything. He doesn't want to marry you. So he wouldn't do what the Guru told. But here, Jamadagni is the Guru, the father, and he's telling Parasurama to do something, and he does it. Even though it's a shocking thing, something which, we'd certainly think twice about doing, kill your mother, kill your brothers. But Parasurama understood the power of the father. He knew his father was rich in austerity, and so he did what his father said. And so his father then said to Parasuram, he said, very good. He said, now you can ask any benediction you want from me. He said, you've done very nicely, I'm very pleased with you. So Parasurama said, please bring my mother and my brothers back to life, and they should not remember anything which has happened to them. So Jamadagni was very pleased with that, and he said, so be it. And by his power, by his mystic potency, he could bring the mother and the brothers back to life. And it was just like they woke up from a dream. Just like you take a rest and then you wake up and you feel refreshed. So they came back to life and they were refreshed. And they didn't know anything that had happened to them. So how do we know this happened? Well, we know by the grace of Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva knows all these things. So, Parasurama could do these kind of things. Of course, it's a test of surrender. How surrendered are you to follow the order of the Guru? Just like in the beginning of the Mahabharata, it begins, they give examples about surrendering to the Guru. The one boy got sent to the fields to take care of the field, take care of the crops in the field. But when he got there to the field, there was a hole in the dike, and the water was all running out. And so he thought how to block it up. So he used his own body. He lay there across the hole in the dike, and stopped all the water from running out. So when he didn't come back, then the Guru came to look for him to find out what was wrong. And they saw him laying down, and they said, what's wrong? So he told them, he said, oh, I'm blocking the hole in the dike. So Guru was very pleased with him, and he blessed him with transcendental knowledge, because he saw that this disciple is very obedient. He really wants to serve. He has a mood of service. So he blessed him with transcendental knowledge. So then there was another disciple, and he was serving the Guru, and the Guru would never tell him to eat. So he would never eat. He would never eat. And he was becoming thinner and thinner, but the Guru never told him to eat, so he never ate. So the Guru saw how he was very sense-controlled, he was very obedient, so he blessed him and gave him transcendental knowledge, that he would understand all the scriptures. And then there was another disciple, and he was sent to take care of the cows. But when he would come back at night, they saw he's getting fat. So the Guru asked the disciple, how is it you're so fat? He said, what are you eating? He said, well, I drink the milk from the cow. So the Guru said, no, you can't do that. That milk from the cow, that is for the deities. It's not for you to drink. So the disciple said, oh, okay. So he went back. Next, they come back gradually, they noticed that he's still fat. He said, what are you taking? He said, well, I lick the milk from the udder of the cow. After they've milked the cow, then there's still some milk on the udder, so I drink that milk. But the Guru said, no, you can't do that. That milk is for the calves, it's not for you. You can't be drinking that milk. You can't do that. And so the disciple went back. And so after some time, he didn't come back. And what happened? The disciple had been there and he hadn't been taking anything. So he went in the forest and he found some berries and he ate some wild berries, but they were poison, and he lost his eyesight. And when he became blind, he fell in a well. So he fell in a well. When they went to look for him, they found he was in the well, and they said, what happened? And he said, well, I had to eat something. I just ate some wild fruit, but I've lost my eyesight and I've fallen in the well. So then the Guru said, okay, we'll give you this special medicine. This is from the Ashwini Kumars. You'll get your eyesight back. And so they went to give it to him. But he said, the disciple said, no, I can't take it. You have to first offer it to the Lord. You have to accept that. You have to give me your remnants. I cannot take anything without your permission. So then the Guru was very pleased. He said, oh, thank you very much. Now you're ready. Now I can give you transcendental knowledge. So Mahabharata begins like that. It talks about the importance of surrender to the Guru, surrender to the spiritual master, obedience, the obedience of the disciple. So this is an extreme case that Jamadagni is telling Parasuram to kill the mother and to kill the brothers. It's of course not something we want to encourage in modern society, modern living. Okay, are there any questions on this so far? What do you think? Would you be willing to kill your mother or your brothers? Of course not, because this is a very special situation that Jamadagni is very powerful, very rich in austerity, and Parasurama understood the power of his father. So he knew that even if he kills them, the father can bring them back to life. But the important point is the obedience to the order of the authority. That Parasurama was obedient to his father. Okay, we'll go ahead. Jamadagni was very much pleased with Parasuram, and ask him to take any benediction. So he said, okay, let them not remember and bring them back to life. This is the benediction I ask. So then Jamadagni does that, and just like they'd been asleep, they came back to life. And said, Lord Parasuram had killed his relatives in accordance with his father's order, because he was fully aware of his father's power, austerity and learning. All right, so that's the Parasurama story. And next week, well, the next part, another pastime is coming up. The sons of Kartavirya Arjun. The sons, how many? He had 10,000 sons. Kartavirya Arjuni had very powerful. He was the emperor, and he had 10,000 sons. And they were defeated by the superior strength of Parasuram. They never achieved happiness. They always remembered the killing of their father. So, Prabhupada writes that Jamadagni was very powerful because of his austerities, but because of a slight offense by his poor wife Renuka, he ordered that she be killed. This certainly was a sinful act, and therefore Jamadagni was killed by the sons of Kartavirya Arjun. Lord Parasurama was also infected by sin because of killing Kartavirya Arjun. But this was not very offensive. Kartavirya Arjun was a sinful person, so killing him was not considered very offensive. But still, some offences there. Lord Parasurama, Prabhupada writes, it doesn't matter whether you're Kartavirya Arjun, Lord Parasurama, Jamadagni, or whoever you may be, you must act very cautiously and sagaciously. Otherwise, one must suffer the results of sinful activities. This is the lesson we receive from Vedic literature. So we have to be very cautious in dealing. And certainly we don't like to kill any living entity. We practice non-violence as much as we can. Of course, some people go to extremes in order to practice non-violence. We see, for example, like there's Ahimsa Jains. There's a group of Jains. In Jainism, there's two divisions. One is Swatamba, and the other is Digamba. So Swatamba Jains, they wear a face mask. And just like during COVID time, we were encouraging everybody wearing face masks, because then face masks, you don't breathe in any germs from outside. Of course, you breathe out germs, but you don't breathe in if you wear a face mask. So the Swatamba Jains, they wear a mask over their face, and they wear special cloth. They wear ahimsa silk cloth. They wear cloth which is taken from the silkworm, but they don't kill the silkworm to get the silk cocoon. They wait for the silkworm to die. And when the silkworm dies naturally, then they take the cocoon and they use that silk to make cloth. So this is called ahimsa silk. And it will be white, of course, they don't put any color in it. And so they go to that extreme, and then they will sweep the road. Wherever they walk, they take a brush with them and they sweep, so that they won't walk over any insects. So this one way of extreme ahimsa. They will filter the water, make sure there's nothing in the water, no kinds of bacteria or anything. And they will not eat anything which grows below the ground. So we don't practice quite like that, but we do practice non-violence. It's one of the important qualities. We don't want to kill unnecessarily. And certainly if you do kill, you get reactions, just like Jamadagni got reactions. Although they were brought back to life, still he got reaction. He got murdered himself. Because he had his wife and sons killed, although he brought them back to life, he himself got murdered. And Kartavirya Arjun, he had been doing a lot of killing, so he got murdered. He got killed by Lord Parasaram. And Lord Parasaram, he'd done a lot of killing. He had to do atonement. He had to go off and do atonement again, go to holy places and reside there. Okay, going ahead, text number 10. Parasaram left the ashram for the forest. And he went with Vasuman and his other brothers. So at that time, the sons of Kartavirya Arjun approached Jamadagni's residence. And they wanted to get revenge because their father had been killed. So the sons of Kartavirya Arjun were sinful. They were determined to do something sinful. And they saw Jamadagni sitting in front of the sacred fire. He was doing yajna and meditating on the Supreme Lord. So at that time, they came and they killed him while he was engaged in prayer. And so, very sinful. And the wife of Jamadagni, Renuka, she's there, and she sees what's happening, and she's crying, and she's pleading with them that please don't kill my husband. But the sons of Kartavirya Arjun, they have no qualities. They are not Kshatriyas. They don't have the qualities of Kshatriya. Kshatriyas would be more, what could we say? What is they would be more kind anyway. The woman is praying for the life of her husband, and they would be willing to hear, and they would give that. They would forgo their sinful activities. But these people are not Kshatriyas, and they don't care that Renuka's crying and pleading with them. And they were so cruel that they cut off the head of Jamadagni and they took it away. And so Renuka cries out, and she cries for her son, "Oh Rama, my dear son Rama." And Lord Rama, although he's far away, he heard the mother calling, and he comes back with the brothers, and they see that their father has already been killed. So Parasurama tells the brothers, take care of our dead father. And Parasurama takes his weapon and he goes off to find out the culprits and deal with them. In text number 15 is described the mood of the sons of Jamadagni when they see their father dead. They were bewildered by grief and anger, indignation affliction and lamentation. And they cried, "O Father, most religious, saintly person, you have left us and gone to the heavenly planets." So they understood, of course, the spiritual nature of their father, that he was a Kshatriya and definitely he would go to the higher planets. So Lord Parasurama tells his brother, take care of our father, and he takes up his axe, and he goes to find these culprits who have killed his father. So the sons of Kartavirya Arjun, they were in the capital of Kartavirya Arjun. That was a place called Mahishmati. So Lord Parashuram went there. And the murderers, the culprits, the killers of Jamadagni, they're there. And that place has become, it said, that place is doomed because they've killed a Brahmana. So they brought their bad karma into that place. So Lord Parasurama went there, and he killed all the sons of Kartavirya Arjun. He cut off their heads. In the midst of that city, he made a mountain of heads, severed from the bodies of the sons of Kartavirya Arjun. They'd killed Jamadagni and taken his head, so Lord Parasurama cut off the heads of all the sons of Kartavirya Arjun and made a mountain with it. Not only that, but the blood of their bodies created a ghastly river. And that river brought fear to the kings who had no respect for Brahminical culture. The Kshatriyas, because the Kshatriyas, the men of power in government, were performing sinful activities. So Lord Parasurama, retaliating the murder of his father, he not only killed the sons of Kartavirya Arjun, but he rid the earth of all the Kshatriyas 21 times. Of course, he did it on the basis that, oh, they killed my father, I blame them for killing my father. But the fact is that the Kshatriya kings were all engaged in sinful activities, and they were simply a burden. Their sinful activities were simply a burden to the earth planet. So it said, after he killed the Kshatriyas 21 times, Lord Parashuram created 9 lakes filled with their blood. That is at a place called Samanta Panchak. There are 9 lakes there which were originally filled with the blood of all the Kshatriyas. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes the mission of the Lord. Right? Bhagavad Gita, the mission of the Lord. Who knows the mission of the Lord? What's the verse in the Bhagavad Gita?
Paritranayo sadhanam vinasaya duskritam. Dharma samstharpanathayo sambhavam yugam. He wanted to establish the religious principle. That's why he appeared in this earthly plan.
Yes.
The demon and
yes.
the devotees.
To protect the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. And so annihilate the miscreants, all the sinful men. And this is one of the tasks, one of the duties of the Lord when he comes in this world. So Lord Parashuram killed the Kshatriyas 21 times consecutively because they were disobedient to the Brahminical culture. So there has to be that cooperation between the different varnas. The Brahmanas know what is good. When the Brahmanas are honest and properly engaged, then they can give good instructions for the country and for the benefit of the people. The Brahmanas' teachings will benefit the world not only spiritually, but also materially. But people have to be obedient, they have to follow. But sometimes you get Kshatriya kings, they don't want to follow. They don't want to hear from the Brahmanas. They don't listen what the Brahmanas have to say. So that creates a problem. If they're not going to hear from the Brahmanas, then you don't get cooperation. Right? The Brahmanas are the head, the Kshatriyas are the arms. So they have to cooperate together. So they were disobedient. So although the Kshatriyas had killed Jamadagni, although the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna had killed Jamadagni, that was only one incident. But the real fact is that because the Kshatriyas, the ruling class, had become polluted, so their position was inauspicious. They had become polluted by sinful activities, desire for power, and disobedience to religious principles, no respect, no proper regard for the Brahminical culture. And so this creates the this created the problem in the society. So Lord Parasurama came, he was a reaction against that. Just like Lord Buddha came when there was the corruption in the Brahminical culture. So here with Lord Parasuram, the corruption is with the Kshatriya culture, the Kshatriya kings. If the government becomes irresponsible and sinful, if the government doesn't care for Brahminical culture, then you can expect there will be some reaction, and that reaction could bring an incarnation of God like Parasurama, who will create it can create a devastation. There may be some great fire or a famine or some other calamity, in which way many people will all die and there'll be so much suffering, inconvenience. So sometimes you get a fire, sometimes you get a great flood, sometimes you get earthquake, different things like that. The calamities are created. These are reactions against the activities which have been performed. Whenever the ruling authorities disrespect the supremacy of the Lord, and they don't protect the different varnas and the religious principles, then they have to face, they have to expect some disasters will come. Just like Lord Parasuram. Just like Lord Parasuram came, he killed all the Kshatriyas 21 times. So, the material world, it's under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Material nature, it's all going on under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It's not by chance when these things happen. And we see sometimes, like there was a big tsunami some years ago. They had a tsunami and it just wiped out so many areas. Areas where there was a lot of sinful activities going on. And so many people died. So Lord Parasurama took action, and at the same time, after he'd taken action against the Kshatriyas, then he had to take care of his father, and he joined his father's head to the dead body and placed the whole body and head upon kusa grass. And then by offering sacrifice, he worshipped Lord Vasudeva, who is the super soul of the demigods and of every living entity. So you can see Lord Parasuram taking care of his dead father. And he does a great sacrifice. And he has to do sacrifice in different directions, gives different things, something in the north, something in the south, something in the east and the west. He gave the middle to Kashyapa, and he gave the place known as Aryavata to the Upadrasta. Right? Upadrasta Anuman. Upadrasta meaning the Lord in the heart, the overseer. Whatever remained, he distributed among the Sadasyas, the associate priests. So different parts of the land were all distributed. And thereafter, completed the sacrificial ceremonies, Lord Parasuram took his sacred bath, the Avabhritya Snan. After performing the yajna, after doing a great sacrifice, then the person who's done the yajna, he has to take this bath, the Avabhritya bath, Snan. So standing on the bank of the great river Saraswati, cleared of all sins, Lord Parasuram appeared like the sun in a clear, cloudless sky. Is he actually free from all kinds of sin? Is it possible he can get free of sins just so quickly?
No, Maharaj.
Yeah, it's unlikely, all right? Anyway, it appears like that. He certainly did the ritualistic ceremony, wants to bring his father back to life.
Maharaj, Abhavrita Snana means in a special snana or bath? Abhavrita Snana means?
Yes, it's a bath they take after performing a sacrifice, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
They do this special bath, they bathe them. So the whole problem is life is birth and death. So they're advised to do yajna. You want to solve the problem of birth and death, you have to do yajna, you have to satisfy Lord Vishnu. So Lord Parasuram, he had to account for his sinful activities, killing so many people. You could say, well, the people he killed were sinful, but you still have to account for killing them all.
But Maharaj, here a question arises, but Lord Parsuram is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the necessity of discussion that whether he is sinful or his sins are cleansed? These are all suspicious questions.
Yes, Lord Parasuram is an incarnation of the Lord. He's a Shakti Avesha avatar. So he's going to go back to Godhead. He has his eternal abode in the spiritual sky. But He comes here because he did some killing. He has to show example. Everything that the Lord does when he comes here, he has to show an example for others. Just like Lord Krishna was always teaching by example. When Lord Krishna was in Dwarka, he would do things to teach by example, taking care of his wives, taking care of his children. So Parasurama, he has to show an example, even though he's the incarnation of God. He has to show an example. He killed a lot of people, he had to go and atone for it. When he just killed that one, Kartavirya Arjun. Well, of course he killed all the army also, but anyway, Jamadagni told him you have to go to holy places, and go there. For 1 year he had to go. So wherever you go, you're going to be engaged in some kind of activity, and activities mean sometimes you will kill things. You may stamp on insects, small insects. You don't see them, and you stamp on them. So you get reactions for that. So they have a system, they have the Pancha Yagya, 5 kinds of sacrifice which you're supposed to do. Just like when you grind up spices, sometimes there's different things there with the spices, so you get sinful reactions. You have to be very cautious. We're supposed to do Pancha Yagna, 5 kinds of recommended sacrifices. But Kali Yuga, we're not so good at doing, we only do Sankirtan. Sankirtan, very powerful. It has the effect of all these 5 yagyas. Just do Sankirtan Yagya, and that can wipe out all of our sinful reactions. Prabhupada said,
Just on Parashram, you know, when we understand that when Krishna kills someone, it's absolute. So whether he kills them or whether he's kind to them, he's merciful to them. So those that Krishna kills, they go to the Brahmajyoti, especially if they're demons. So is that the case with Parashram as well? When Parashram kills anyone, are they automatically cleansed of their sins? Or is it because he's a Shakti Vaishya avatar, the result is different?
well, we never hear that they're all liberated. You know, when Lord Krishna is there, then it's one thing. But somebody else, some other avatar, we don't hear like that they're all liberated. You know, Lord Nrsingadev came, but then Hiranyakashipu was killed, but he took birth again. He has to come back again, take another birth. You know, he doesn't go back to Godhead. But when Lord Krishna comes, then you get liberation. So Shaktavesha avatars, I don't know that they can all liberate. I've never heard that they can actually liberate people.
Thank you, Mark.
But Sankirtan Yagya can liberate people. If people do Sankirtan, this is special concession to save people from being affected by known or unknown sinful activities. We are surrounded by unlimited sins, therefore it is compulsory that one take to Krishna consciousness and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You know, we cannot avoid sinful activity, we all have sinful activities, so we have to do some yagya, and that this yagya for this age is Sankirtan. We take shelter of the holy name, and we can get all perfection. And certainly we can destroy our sinful reactions. Right. Does anybody know about this Shatavesha avatars? Can they liberate people from birth and death? Anybody know? Nobody knows? I'll have to find out more about that. I wondered about that myself, actually. I haven't been able to come across any evidence which actually says that people will be liberated. All right, we'll go ahead then. So Jamadagni was worshipped by Lord Parasuram. He was brought back to life with full remembrance, and he became one of the 7 sages in the group of 7 stars. All right, the Saptarishis, they revolve around the pole star, they revolve around Dhruvaloka at the top of the universe. So Jamadagni, he became one of these stars which are revolving around, the 7 sages. And we can see them every night. They make a complete orbit around the pole star within 24 hours. And then we're told about Lord Parasurama, that Lord Parasurama, in the next Manvantara, so it's quite a long time, right? The next Manvantara anyway, the son of Jamadagni, Parasurama, will be a great propounder of Vedic knowledge. In other words, he will be one of the 7 sages. But that's not until the next Manvantara. So how many Manus in one day of Brahma?
14 Manus, 14.
14. So how many yugas have you got for each Manu? How many Divya?
71 time.
Huh?
71 approximately, 71, 72.
71,
71.
72, yeah, okay. So 72. So in the next Manvantara, so that's after like 72 Divya Yugas, before he will have a duty, and he'll be speaking Vedic knowledge. Quite a long time. Then we're told Lord Parasuram is still living as an intelligent Brahmana. Although he became a Kshatriya for some time, after he'd done all his killing, then he takes up his Brahminical culture again. And so he's living as an intelligent Brahmana in the mountainous country known as Mahendra. Completely satisfied, having given up all the weapons of a Kshatriya, he is always worshipped, adored, and offered prayers for his exalted character and activities by such celestial beings as the Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas. So people of the higher planets, these celestial beings, they're able to offer prayers and to worship Lord Parasurama. He's residing there and he's waiting for his time to come. For the future when he will preach the Vedic knowledge. So then text 27 is like a summary of the Lord Parasuram, his activities. In this way, the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead, the Lord and the Supreme Controller, descended as an incarnation in the Bhrigu dynasty and released the universe from the burden of undesirable kings by killing them many times. So the Lord appears in that body of Parasurama. He comes as an incarnation in the Bhrigu dynasty. So the Lord appears. Now, I was just reading about Lord Rama, that Lord Rama, he has his own abode in the spiritual sky. So when Lord Rama comes in this world, it's not Krishna who's coming as Rama, but Lord Rama himself. He has his own abode. He's an eternal being in the spiritual world. So does Parasurama also have his own abode in the spiritual world? Or is he just an empowered personality? He's a jiva, right? Parasurama is a jiva. As I understand it, he's a jiva tattva.
Yes, Maharaj, that's how I understand it too. It's also written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it states that he's a jiva tattva.
He's a jiva tattva, okay. Thank you.
Empowered with destructive energy.
Yeah, he's empowered with the energy of the Supreme Lord, right? The Supreme Shaktya-vesha. The Lord enters into his body and empowers him to perform these activities. Okay. So then, the second part of this chapter is telling about Vishwamitra. Right? We've told about Parasurama, now we're going to hear about Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was the son of Maharaj Gadi. Remember Maharaj Gadi? We heard about him before. Who was his daughter? The daughter of Maharaj Gadi?
Satyavati.
Yes, Satyavati, right. Satyavati. So Satyavati, she was an interesting lady. She gave birth to Vedavyas by the semen of Parasurama. Then later on, then she becomes the wife of Maharaj Santanu. And their child is Vichitravirya.
Maharaj, is this the same? Is this the same Satyavati? I thought it was a different Satyavati.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because Satyavati marries Parashara.
Satyavati married Parashuram.
Not Parashuram, Parashuramuni.
Parasaramuni.
Parasaram.
Well, she didn't actually marry him, but thought she had a child by him.
Yes, Maharaj. Actually, she didn't marry.
And then she had a child by him.
So, Maharaj, I had one doubt. This Satyavati is same who begot child from Parasar Muni and who was married later to Vichitravirya, you said.
Well, that's who I thought. I didn't know there was more than one Satyavati. I thought it was the same woman.
So how it will be possible, Maharaj, if she is marrying with here also Richik Muni and then she is second time married with there in Vichitravirya case. So how can a Mataji can marry two times?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe that's a different Satyavati. Maybe you're right. Maybe there's two Satyavatis. Yeah, Richika, they had a child, right? Who was the child? By Richika?
Jamdagni.
Was it? Jamadagni?
Yes, Maharaj. Right now, in this chapter, previous chapter we read. No?
Okay. So Jamadagni. So it must be a different Satyavati, huh?
Yes, Maharaj, it is appearing so.
It seems so, Maharaj.
Uh-huh. Okay. Anyway, Maharaj Gadi did have a daughter Satyavati, but that daughter Satyavati, that was that he wanted the dowry, 1,000 horses with white horses, each one with one black ear.
Yeah, the Satyavati from the Mahabharata, her father was a fisherman.
Yes. Right. Her father was a fisherman. That's right, yeah. And that's how Parasara saw her, and he wanted to have union with her, and he arranged to give her a child. And then later on, Bhishma's father, Santanu, saw her. He wanted to marry Satya, the girl, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Anyway, we're hearing about the son here, the son of Maharaj Gadi, Vishwamitra, and we're told he was as powerful as the flames of fire. From the position of a Kshatriya, he achieved the position of a powerful Brahmana by undergoing penances and austerities. So we just heard about Parasurama. Parasurama was a Brahmana who became a Kshatriya. At least he took up the Kshatriya work for some time, but actually he was born as a Brahmana, meant to be a Brahmana. And now we're going to hear about Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra had been born a Kshatriya, and he's wants to become a Brahmana. So, position in the Varnashram system, it can change. People can change their qualities. So we practice Daivi Varnashram, that we have to do whatever is required. We cannot say, oh, I'm a Brahmana, I don't do this. We have to do whatever is required. Sometimes you have to do some Vaishya work, sometimes you have to do some Sudra work. We have to do whatever the situation requires. We're not following the Vedic Varnashram system, we're following what is called Daivi Varnashram. Means doing whatever is required. So just like here, Parasurama, he had to work as a Kshatriya. But after finishing his work as a Kshatriya, he again became a Brahmana and returned to Mahendra Parvat. And Vishwamitra, he is born in a Kshatriya family, but by austerities and penances, he becomes a Brahmana. So the position in the Varnashram system can change. And status does not depend on birth. And the important verse is given from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, Narada Muni is instructing Maharaj Yudhisthira, Yashya yau lakshanam proktam pumso varna vinanjakam yad anyatrapi drishyete tattanaiva vinirdishat if one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification. To know who is a Brahmana, and who is a Kshatriya, one must consider a man's quality and work. If all the unqualified Sudras become so-called Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, social order will be impossible to maintain. Thus, there will be discrepancies. Human society will turn into a society of animals, and the situation all over the world will be hellish. Of course, this is one of the objections people have with our Krishna consciousness movement. That you could say the coming from the Western world, coming out of the Western world, we're all unqualified Sudras. And for us to become so-called Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, then it makes the social order very difficult to maintain. So Srila Prabhupada was always very concerned about these issues, about people becoming devotees and taking Brahminical initiation, that we're very strictly following the Brahminical culture. And we should not deviate from the culture. Although we come from outside the Vedic culture, and we're low-born, but we're given an opportunity by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, giving us all an opportunity to come to a higher standard of life. Of course, still, our movement, we do get criticisms, and the criticisms are often justified. That so-called members of our society, if they deviate from the standards of Krishna consciousness, then people will certainly criticize us. And they do. Of course, we say, well, Kali Yuga, everybody's low-born. Yes, but still, when you're born outside of the Vedic culture, then you're really low-born, you're really far away. If you're born somewhere in the Vedic culture, if you're born in Bharatvarsha, then you have a better hope, at least. You're not so far away from the proper standards of society. And of course, people also criticize, like, bringing deities to the Western world. This is are we actually qualified to maintain the worship of the deity? The initial enthusiasm can often wither away. That in the beginning, devotees are very enthusiastic and they get deities, but then when it comes to maintain the deities over a long run, and it becomes very challenging, very difficult to keep up the regular worship of the deities. So Srila Prabhupada was always concerned about these things, that in the beginning a lot of enthusiasm, but it's difficult to maintain that enthusiasm. So now of course we have deity ministry, and the deity ministry, they have the job, they will check up on everything before anyone opens a new temple or before they bring more deities into the temple. They will investigate the situation, and they will want to see how many brahmanas are there and how often are they making the offerings, and is the temple property owned by the society, or is it a rented property, and these kind of things. They want to make sure that the temple is qualified to keep up the standards, because things do change. You know, in Prabhupada's time, a lot of young devotees and all living in the ashram, so not a problem to do deity worship, because there's many people living in the ashram. But when everyone becomes congregation, then it's more difficult to get people to come and to do the pujas in the morning, and to keep the temple open in the daytime is also difficult. People all have jobs, they have to go to work. Who's going to take care of the temple? So sometimes what they do, they will just simply close the temple in the daytime. Or usually the temple's closed in the afternoon because the deity will sleep. But often people just come in the morning, they will do the puja in the morning, make the offering, then go to work. The whole day nobody will be there, temple will be closed. And then they come again at night, and then in the evening again do arti, make an offering. So the standards go down a bit, quite a bit. Anyway, people have to be recognized according to their standards, according to their work and qualities. Chaturvarnamaya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. One is known as a Brahmana by dint of his guna and karma. Guna meaning qualities and karma meaning work. So a person who is a Brahmana should work like a Brahmana. And you don't find too many people who want to work like a Brahmana. Working like a Brahmana means studying the scriptures and teaching the scriptures, and worshipping the deity and teaching the worship of the deity. And then they can accept charity and give charity. That's the duty of a Brahmana. That's how a Brahmana is meant to live. But find so many temples have closed. The people don't want to be the puja. They don't want to do the puja. They want to go and work in the job. They can make more money. They feel more comfortable working in the job than being in the temple. And because of that, a number of temples, they close up. They closed it. There's nobody doing the puja, nobody maintaining them. In the beginning, they do the puja every day, and then it becomes, instead of every day, it will become on Ekadasi, we'll do the puja, and then it becomes, why on Ekadasi, we'll just do it one day a year. And then it happens, after a year, they forget. And then what happens? Then the plague comes, and everybody dies, and the temple is put into ruin, and these kind of things happen. This is the history. When they bring the deity and they don't maintain the worship, so it's not good. You get reactions for that. So we should be very cautious about bringing deities and establishing temples. We want to see that they're maintained. Right? Any comments? What do you think, Narasimha Nitai Prabhu?
Maharaj, devotee when they take initiation and when they receive Brahminic initiation, they feel very enthusiastic. They want to worship the deity. They show their agraha. Agraha means desire. By their desire, vigraha come. Vigraha means deity come. They want to give, okay, you desire to worship me, now you worship me. So you said that they feel enthusiastic to worship the deity. They worship. And you said that when Ekadashi come, then husband, wife pushing to wife, wife pushing to husband. Not today you worship the deity, tomorrow I will worship. So agraha, vigraha, then galadgraha. Galadgraha means it's painful. We will worship. Today I did, tomorrow you do. Galadgraha. Then galadgraha, agraha, vigraha, galadgraha, painful. Then at the end, it becomes nigraha. Nigraha means that curtain close the deity room for week and week, month and month. This is happening, Maharaj. Last year, one devotee came from Russia. 10 years back, they took the deity, Radha Krishna deity. They brought the deity, now they are unable to worship the deity. They met with Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj said, okay, bring the deity. They brought the deity. They went to Jamuna. Guru Maharaj by himself, one parts, ornaments putting in Jamuna water, deities. And at the last, Radha Krishna deity in Jamuna, Samadhi, full Samadhi. This is happening, Maharaj. One has to be very careful before accepting the deity. It is not a joke.
Yes, definitely.
So this is not my word, this is Sadhu's word. Agraha, Vigraha, Galadgraha and Nigraha.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes people...
I'm just, by telling this what I am reminding me, because we worship deity every day. We have to be very careful. Deity means himself, Lord present here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Maharaj, for reminding this word.
So, and this is a powerful sentence, Prabhupada said, all the unqualified Sudras, if all the unqualified Sudras become so-called Brahmins and Kshatriyas, social order will be impossible to maintain. So, we have to be very careful like that. Unqualified Sudras. If people are not even qualified to be Sudras, and then they become Brahmins and Kshatriyas. Unqualified Sudras means people like from outside the Varnashram system. Means people like Malechas and Chandalas, low-born, very low-born. So, actually everybody from the outside the Vedic culture, then we're all in that kind of category. Unqualified Sudras. And if we become Brahmins and Kshatriyas...
After receiving second initiation, they no chant Gayatri proper time also. I'm so sorry, I feel sad.
Uh-huh.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm sorry, Maharaj. I feel very sad.
Chant.
After receiving initiation means you should be qualified. Guru Maharaj has given you a chance to become a Brahman. You should follow it very strictly. Why if you do not follow, why you receive second initiation? By showing people? This is not good, Maharaj.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, we have to be strict to our vows. We're given opportunity. So, doing things like chanting japa and chanting Gayatri must keep up our spiritual practice. Anyway, the Varnashram system is there. It's meant to organize people. sometimes the emergency situations arise. Just like it was an emergency here. Parasurama was a Brahmana, but he had to take up the work of the Kshatriya. It was an emergency. Similarly, Lord Buddha, it was another emergency with the degradation of the Brahmanas. Lord Buddha came. He led the people away from the Vedic culture. The situation was so bad. He led the people away from the Vedic culture. And then Shankaracharya came and he re-established very high standard, very strict standard. Even today, in the line of Shankaracharya, they're very strict. They have very high standards. What you can do, what you can't do. Of course, they base everything on birth. Brahmanas by birth. So, unless you're born in the Brahmana family, you cannot take sannyas. So they have these kind of rulings in the line of Shankaracharya. But after Shankaracharya, then the Vaishnava acharyas came. And so you have Ramanuja, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka, Vishnu Swami, these people. So the four lines of Vaishnava Sampradayas came out to give us the understanding that everyone has a right to make spiritual progress. Everyone can advance if they develop the qualities. We should not discriminate against people just on the basis of their birth, but we want to give everyone the chance to improve themselves, to come to a higher standard by practicing the Vedic culture, to come to the mode of goodness and then go on to pure goodness. So birth should not be a discriminating factor. The Sri Vaishnavas, they have opened a temple there in South India, near Hyderabad. They call it the Statue of Equality. Because Ramanuja Acharya, of course, he was fond of giving everybody the opportunity. Right? His Guru Maharaj told him, chant this mantra and you can be liberated. But his Guru Maharaj told him, don't tell anyone. You should keep it secret. But next moment he saw Ramanujacharya in the marketplace and he's up on the roof and he's telling everyone, chant this mantra, you'll be liberated. Chant this mantra, chant Om Namo Narayana, you'll be liberated. So the Guru was saying, hey, what are you doing? He said, well, I want everyone to be liberated. And so the Guru said, well, he said, you're better than me. You have a compassionate nature. You want to benefit the people. So Ramanuja was giving that mantra to everyone. He wanted everyone to chant, to come to that higher standard. And the same way Srila Prabhupada went to the Western world to give everyone a chance to chant the holy name of the Lord. People say, oh no, you know, the Vedic mantra is only for Brahmanas to chant. But Lord Chaitanya brought the chanting out of the temple. He brought it to everyone, let everyone chant the holy name. And then, of course, it said there's no initiation for chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. You don't have to be initiated. Anybody can chant. And if you're just going to chant, you can just chant. We don't restrict people. We give the holy name to everyone. And they say the more you give the holy name, the more powerful it becomes. And that is the special feature of the holy name, that we can distribute it widely and it becomes more and more powerful. So this is the Vaishnava philosophy, that everyone should be given an opportunity to become self-realized and to get out of birth and death. Not just only brahmanas, but everyone. Okay, we'll go ahead. Here's text 29. Vishwamitra had 101 sons, of whom the middle one was known as Madhuchanda. In relation to him, all the other sons were celebrated as the Madhuchandas. So, Madhuchandas, Vishwamitra had 101 sons. 50 were older than Madhuchanda and 50 were younger. Madhuchanda's in the middle. Then Vishwamitra accepted the son of Ajigartha, known as Sunashepa, who was born in the Bhrigu dynasty and was also known as Devarata, as one of his own sons. Vishwamitra ordered his other sons to accept Sunashepa as their eldest brother. But, of course, they don't want to do that. Sunashepa's father sold Sunashepa to be sacrificed as a man animal in the yagna of King Harishchandra. When Sunashepa was brought into the sacrificial arena, he prayed to the demigods for release and was released by their mercy. And then the purport. Here is a description of Sunashepa. When Harishchandra was to sacrifice his son, Rohit arranged to save his own life by purchasing Sunashepa from Sunashepa's father to be sacrificed in the yagya. Sunashepa was sold to Maharaj Harishchandra because he was the middle son, between the oldest and the youngest. It appears that the sacrifice of a man as an animal in yagya has been practiced for a very long time. So, of course, this is one of the criticisms again about the Vedic culture, that there are things like this in the Vedic culture, that there's in some places it tells about human sacrifice. Of course, in the Vedic culture, there's things in the mode of goodness, there's the mode of passion, and there's the mode of ignorance. So here you have a description of the mode of ignorance, a human sacrifice, an animal-human sacrifice.
But once this was brought for sacrifice, but how he was saved?
Huh? What?
Shuhansef was meant for sacrifices of Harishchandra's yajna, but how he was saved? He could have been sacrificed there. Who saved him?
The demigods saved him. He prayed to the demigods. He was released by their mercy. Right? Text 32. Although Sunashepa was born in the Bhargava dynasty, he was greatly advanced in spiritual life, and therefore the demigods involved in the sacrifice protected him. Consequently, he was also celebrated as the descendant of Gadi named Devarata. All right? So Sunashepa, he was advanced in spiritual life, and the demigods understood that, and so they protected him. Of course, we read in the Srimad Bhagavatam about Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat had been arrested by these dacoits, right? They wanted to do a human sacrifice, and they took Jad Bharat, and they were going to sacrifice him to the goddess Kali. Then what happened?
Goddess Kali killed them all.
Yeah. The goddess Kali killed them all. Why?
Because he was the devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, because Jad Bharat was a pure devotee. Jad Bharat, he didn't pray to the Lord or anything. It was just because the Lord is in his heart. So the Lord knew. So goddess Kali came to life and she killed all these people who were trying to kill Jad Bharat. So text 33, when requested by their father to accept Sunashepa as the eldest son, the elder 50 of the Madhu Chandas, all the sons of Vishwamitra, did not agree. Therefore Vishwamitra, being angry, cursed them. May all of you bad sons become malechas, being opposed to the principles of Vedic culture. So we heard about Lord Parasuram, how he was so obedient to his father that even when he had to kill his mother, he did it without, he did it immediately. Now here, Vishwamitra is angry at his sons, because the older sons, they don't want to accept the Sunashepa as their eldest brother. So Vishwamitra curses them that you can all become malechas because you're opposed to the Vedic culture. You don't accept the authority, not accepting their father's authority. Their father is telling them that you have to do this, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to accept Sunashepa as their elder brother. So where do we hear that kind of thing? The father is asking the sons to do something, and they don't want to do it. Have you got some examples of this? Yes? Parama Karuna, haven't heard from you tonight. Parama Karuna there?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
So you can...
There is the famous example of the Kumaras refusing Lord Brahma.
Yes, that's one example. Some others?
We have also Daksha's sons, them refusing to take up. There were 11,000 sons.
Well, they didn't directly refuse. They were sent off, they just didn't come back.
Yeah.
But what about Yayati? Of course.
Yeah. Some of the Yayati sons refused to have an exchange of age.
Yes, right. Yeah. Yayati. He was cursed
Because
to...
they were materialistic.
Yeah, Yayati was supposed to become old. But Yayati protested that, oh, it will be very bad for your daughter. So then Sukracharya said, then you can give your curse to your son, if they will accept. So the oldest son, what did the oldest son of Yayati say? Well, he had a reason, right? Didn't want to do it. He had a good reason, so he got off. But the youngest son accepted, Puru. The youngest son accepted. So that, anyway, you can see this point coming up again and again. Disobedience to the Vedic principles. You can see the word here, mlecha. Disobedient to the Vedic principles. On text 33, word meanings, the word is mlecha. Disobedient to the Vedic principles. So this is, in Kali Yuga, we've got the whole, all mlechas. All of you bad sons become mlechas because you're opposed to the principles of Vedic culture. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, in Vedic literature, there are names like Malecha and Yavana. Malechas are understood to be those who do not follow the Vedic principles. In former days, the Malechas were fewer, and Vishwamitra Muni cursed his sons to become Malechas. But in the present age, Kali Yuga, there is no need of cursing, for people are automatically Malechas. There is only the beginning. This is only the beginning of Kali Yuga. But at the end of Kali Yuga, the entire population will consist of Malechas, because no one will follow the Vedic principles. At that time, the incarnation Kalki will appear. Malecha nivaha nidhane kalayasi karavalam. He will kill all the Malechas indiscriminately with his sword. Keshavadrita Kalki Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare. Like that. So Jayadeva Goswami has described how Kalki, Lord Kalki, at the end of the Kali Yuga will come to kill all the Malechas. So Prabhupada describing the situation, we don't need to curse anyone, so everybody's already Malecha. Krishna. So we, although we are Malechas, we can be saved, we can be transformed, we just have to become obedient to the Vedic culture. We have to follow the Vedic principles. So this is what this is one of the purposes of the Krishna conscious movement, to introduce people to the Vedic principles and to try to get people to accept that discipline, to follow the principle, particularly 4 principles. For no meat, fish and eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. So this is a basic principle of Vedic culture. Everyone agree?
Yes, Maharaj.
So we're trying to introduce these things. We encourage people also, chant the holy name, worship the deity, read the books about Krishna. These kind of things that can bring people to the higher consciousness of life. Help them to take up the Vedic culture. People generally, they have a television in their home. They're watching television. Of course, now television is minimized. Now everyone just simply has their mobile phone. And everything's there in the mobile phone, all kinds of movies, all kinds of news and different things, it's all there. Everyone has their own mobile phone, young children also. And so their minds are all controlled by all of this propaganda which is put through the media. We try to influence people, try to change people. It's a difficult job. And Srila Prabhupada also said how difficult it was. He said, to make one devotee, you have to shed gallons of blood. So it's a big job to bring people into Krishna consciousness. But still, Lord Chaitanya's mercy is there. Lord Chaitanya is very merciful. Lord Nityananda, they're very merciful. People can be changed, and we do see people changing. There is hope that more and more people can be changed, more and more people can be saved. So we shouldn't become too discouraged, we shouldn't become too depressed or overwhelmed. We should remain enthusiastic, and we should keep working, trying to give Krishna consciousness at every opportunity. Alright, so Vishwamitra's sons are divided. The first 50, they don't want to accept this Sunashepa as their elder brother. Why not?
Because he was not their natural brother.
Okay, but why not accept him though? He's a good man, he's got good qualities, he's a nice devotee. Huh? No, look, you got to do something. I can't hear you. It's not clear at all. You got to fix your mic.
Guruna Prabhu, can you speak something?
Yes, go ahead.
Maharaj, I was thinking maybe it could be envy because he was very spiritually advanced and did lots of austerity, so maybe there was some envy there, so they didn't want to accept him.
Yes, that's a possibility. We're envious, somebody comes along, a new person comes along and they're put over us. We get that phenomena in temples, right? You get some very qualified person comes along, then they put him up in a big position, and then everybody's depressed. Oh, he's taken over, he's gone above us. It definitely happens. It can easily happen in our temples as well. The same kind of situation. A new person comes and they're very learned, very cultured, very expert in everything. You know, people don't like it. Even Prabhupada had problems like that. Srila Prabhupada, he was expert in everything. He's playing Madanga nicely, he was expert cook, he was a writer, preacher, but he wasn't so much made welcome in the temples. When he was trying to live in Vrindavan or trying to do something in India, initially, it wasn't easy for him. Where he could find a place where he could get any facility. No one wanted to give him any facility. All right, so what happens that the younger ones, the younger Madhuchandas accepted Sunashepa as their elder brother, and they told him, "We shall follow your orders." Vishwamitra then said to the obedient sons, "Because you have accepted Sunashepa as your eldest brother, I am very satisfied. By accepting my order, you have made me a father of worthy sons, and therefore I bless all of you to become the fathers of sons also." An interesting blessing. Become the father of sons. So of the 100 sons, half disobeyed Vishwamitra by not accepting Sunashepa, but the other half accepted the order of Vishwamitra. Therefore the father blessed the obedient sons to become the father of sons. Otherwise, they too would have been cursed to be sunless Malechas. Sunless Malechas. Not just Malechas, but sunless Malechas. Well, that's good. If they're Malechas, we don't want more Malechas. If they would have children, their children would also be Malechas. So children of Malechas. Anyway, these are very parallel situations in our ISKCON society. Somebody coming into the movement, and we recognize them, and you give them position. Just like Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Gaur Govinda Swami, he came to Prabhupada in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada was talking to him, and Prabhupada could understand this man is very qualified. He would, he'd retired and he'd come out of family life, and he was moving around, and he was looking for some place where he could devote himself. And so he'd come to Vrindavan, and Prabhupada talked to him, and Prabhupada understood this man's very well read, educated, and Prabhupada told him that, he said, would you like to take sannyas? And Gaur Govinda said, yes, I want to take sannyas. And so Prabhupada told him, I will give you sannyas. And so when it came time for the sannyas ceremony, some of the young devotees there, like Srila Prabhupada's disciples, young Westerners, they were surprised that, wow, he's a new man. He'd just come and he's taking sannyas. He's only been here a few months and he's taking sannyas. And somebody even said something to Srila Prabhupada about it, that Prabhupada, he's just a new man. You want him to take sannyas? And Prabhupada said, oh, he's not a new man. He's in this his whole life. He said he's in this his whole life because he was born in it and brought up in it. So like that. And so Srila Prabhupada gave him sannyas very quickly. And although Prabhupada gave him sannyas, he didn't really have a lot of facility to give him. Gaur Govinda, Prabhupada had some land there in Bhubaneswar, so he gave that land to him, let him go there and develop it. But there were no men, there were no devotees. He had to go there, he had to make devotees. It was a struggle. But Krishna helped. Krishna sent men and Krishna sent money. And there's a beautiful temple there today because of Gaur Govinda Maharaj. And similarly also Bhakti Swami. Bhakti Swami came in 1977. He was a new man, very new, but Prabhupada could understand that he's very, very pure from birth. Prabhupada had spoke to him, and understood that he was a very, very qualified person. So very quickly he was given sannyas by Srila Prabhupada, although he'd only been a short time in the movement. And they said, you're a demigod, Bhakti Charu. Demigods, they give birth without pregnancy. So they told Bhakti Charu, he said, you're like a demigod, because you got your sannyas so quickly. It's like the demigods giving birth without pregnancy. So Prabhupada said he was very pure. And of course, they both did wonderful service. Prabhupada recognized their potential, and they both made very wonderful contributions to the Krishna consciousness movement. And so those are some examples, you know. So here at Sunashepa, naturally the brothers, some of them not too eager to have somebody come in over them. You can imagine the situation in the family. You get somebody, he's going to be your older brother. The older brother, you know, oldest brother, he's the one in charge. In the absence of the father, the eldest brother will be the head of the family. So if Sunashepa is going to become the eldest brother, then he's going to become the head of the family when the father goes. So this is one of the problems, that they think why he should be in charge, you know, why he's a new... But because Sunashepa is very qualified, so Vishwamitra wants to put him in charge, make him your older brother. Okay. The next text 36, Vishwamitra said, "O Kaushikas, this Devavrata is my son and is one of you. Please obey his orders." Vishwamitra had many other sons. Right, he had how many sons Vishwamitra had? 101, was it? Yeah?
101.
101.
Yeah. So Vishwamitra cursed some of his sons and blessed the others, and he also adopted a son. Thus there were varieties in the Kaushik dynasty. But among all the sons, Devarata was considered the eldest. And Devarata was the adopted son, but he was considered the eldest by the instructions of Kaushika. So in this way we understand something of the Vedic culture, how delicate it is. The authority, the instructions of the father or the spiritual master, very important. And that obedience to the order of the spiritual master. People take initiation, they come for initiation, but they don't always want to take authority, to take instruction. They don't always want to do what they're supposed to be doing, working and following the instructions of the spiritual master. Tamal Krishna Goswami was giving initiation to one lady, and he asked her, he said, "Will you do what I say? Will you follow my instructions?" So she said, yeah, okay, I will. So he gave her initiation. But that's it, the real criterion for initiation, that you have to be willing to accept the authority of the spiritual teacher and to follow his instructions. And you can see this point coming out here in the 9th canto, the importance of being obedient. If you don't follow the instructions, it's very bad. How can you do anything? And this point came up and also in we were doing the sixth canto. Sixth canto about it was Brihaspati left the demigods, and the demigods got defeated by the demons. And then they brought in Twasta, they lost Brihaspati, and so they went to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma said, you've offended the Guru. He said, you can't do anything without a Guru. You need a Guru. So they brought in another Guru. They brought in this Vishwarup, who was the son of Twashta. And Vishwarup was doing the yagyas on behalf of the demigods, but at the same time he was offering for the demons. So when Indra understood that, then Indra killed him. So Indra killed him. So then Indra got reactions for that. Of course, he gave away the sinful reaction. He divided it among other people who he had given benefit to before. But then he killed somebody else afterwards. And he has to kill Vritrasura. After he killed Vritrasura, then he got sinful reactions. So, obedience to the orders of the spiritual master, very important. If you offend the spiritual master, then there's havoc on the path of self-realization. So it's very important to be obedient to the authority. So we are seeing here in this chapter, Parasurama was so obedient, and Vishwamitra, he gets so angry when his sons don't do what he says. He cursed his own sons to become malechas. What can we say? Sometimes people are, they're controlled by their children. Whatever their children want, they will give them. They'll do whatever the children want. Oh, the children want meat. Oh, the children want alcohol. Oh, the children want to smoke. They do all these, they'll let the children do these things. They don't try to control them sometimes. Okay.
Maharaj, why?
Yes?
Maharaj, why Vishwamitra addressed to his own sons Kausikas? Was Kausika their common ancestor, previous ancestor?
Yes. I thought that was his name before he became Vishwamitra. I thought his name was Kaushika, wasn't it? As a Kshatriya, what was his name? Vishwamitra, before he became Vishwamitra, what was his name? Was it Kaushika?
Kaushika is the name Maharaj connected with his mother, who became a river.
Oh.
Kaushiki. So, other than Vishwamitra, I'm not sure if there was another name.
Oh, definitely there was some other name when he was a Maharaja, when he was a king. I'll have to check it again. Anyway, he's in the dynasty of Kaushika. So, Kaushiki, the mother, right?
Hare Krishna.
Yes?
Maharaj, here I'm following this Subodhini, here it is written Kaushika dynasty, under bracket, descendants of Kusha, that Lava and Kusha, Ramchandra's dynasty.
Oh, Love and Kush. But no, I think, no, that's a dynasty coming from the sun. These are kings from the dynasty of the moon. As I understand it, we finished with the kings coming from the sun god. Now we're hearing about the kings coming from the moon.
There is a personality, Maharaj Kusha, just before Gandhi. So maybe that's what it means when they're referred to as Kaushika.
Okay.
Probably a different Kusha.
Well, there was a personality called Kaushika. There was some great sage or yogi, Kaushika.
Maharaj, here when under bracket it is written descendants of Kusha described in chapter 9.12. So in chapter 9.12 we are getting the descendants of Kusha, the son of Lord Ramchandra. So it is something related with this as per this Subodhini. I don't know what is right or wrong.
But Maharaj is saying that these are two different dynasties. Sun dynasty, Moon dynasty. It is quite different dynasty. Kusha belongs to Sun dynasty. It is the dynasty descending from Moon.
Maybe it's not chronological. Maybe they're switching between the two. They might have gone back to start talking about the Ramchandra's dynasty, maybe.
Well, that's a speculation. Anyway, there's something else we'll put in the car park. We'll try to look into that, find out something more about the dynasty of Kaushika. I'll have to look in my Valmiki Ramayana and see what it says. Okay, any other points?
I had a question on purport of text 30.
Yes?
In the middle of the purport, or just after the middle of the purport, Prabhupada writes, Shunashepa was sold to Maharaj Harishchandra because he was the middle son between the oldest and the youngest. But Madhuchanda was the middle son, not Shunashepa. That's what we're hearing in text, in the translation, right?
No, but that was before he got adopted, right? Because Sunashepa was purchased. So
are we saying Sunashepa and Madhuchanda are the middle? Is the same personality?
No, not the same.
So then, how can both of them be middle?
Because different families. Sunashepa before he got adopted by Vishwamitra.
Okay, fine. Okay, so he was also from a family where he was the middle sibling.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We're not told the name, but it just says from Sunashepa's father. He'd been purchased from Sunashepa's father to be sacrificed in the yagya. In text 31, purport. Sunashepa was sold to Maharaj Harishchandra because he was the middle son. So they're different, yeah.
Maharaj, how father can sell his own son for sacrifice?
Well,
very
sometimes
difficult to accept.
yeah, some fathers they had to do that. The circumstance, maybe some special circumstance, he had to sell his son. See, he sold the middle son. He was the middle son. He was sold because he's the middle son. So there was the oldest son, he's the one they're most attached to, the oldest, the senior. So they want him. And the youngest, they're more attached to the youngest because he's the youngest, so he gets all the affection of the mother and like that. So the middle son, they're not so much attached to, okay, we'll sell him. You want to keep the oldest and the youngest. The middle one, no, we can do without him.
Middle child syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm a middle child. You kind of get like, you don't have any importance. All the eldest ones have achieved everything that they need to achieve. And you're not cute like the youngest one.
Did you have that experience?
Yeah, I did. I spent most of my time with my gran instead. She lived with us, so I would get all my love and attention from her.
Yeah, I mean, definitely can be like that. The parents will give more attention to the youngest. The youngest gets the most affection, most attention. And the eldest is senior. Yeah, middle child syndrome definitely can be a problem. Okay, any other questions then? Okay, then we'll leave it at that then tonight. We'll finish here.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow night. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki. Go back to Vrinda ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.